NCERT लाइन टू लाइन क्वेश्चंस आपसे डिस्कस करूँगा. एंड द चैप्टर वी हैव टेकन इज चैप्टर 4, मूविंग चार्जेस एंड मैग्नेटिज्म. So let's begin with the question. So here is the first question, that electricity and magnetism have been known for. So these are known for more than 2000 years. So first one will be correct over here. Second question is, when it was realized that electricity and magnetism are related. So it was realized in 1820. So here also the first option is correct. Third question is, in 1820 Christian Ørsted noticed that. So here is, current in a wire caused deflection in magnetic needle, or current in a magnetic needle caused deflection in wire. So it's basically a concept over here. Ørsted was working with a wire and current in the wire when he, let's discuss the concept over here. So what happened was that there was a current carrying wire and there was a magnetic needle like this. So Ørsted noted that when there was a current in the wire, this magnetic needle got deflected. So in a way he thought that a current or a moving charge can apply force on a magnet, or we can say that can produce magnetic field which interacted with the magnet, because there is nothing which directly connects the current carrying wire to the needle. So Ørsted concluded that somehow a current carrying wire or a moving charge is able to create a magnetic field which interacts with the needle and caused a force on it, causing it to get deflected. So this is the concept behind this question. And now let's see the question. So here we can say is that he concluded that current in a wire caused deflection in magnetic needle. So here option number 1 is correct. Then we have question number 4. So in this question is, in the above question, Christian Ørsted noted that alignment of the magnetic needle is. So he noted that alignment is tangential to an imaginary circle with the wire at the center. So when he performed this experiment, let's understand the concept of this. So as this was the case, so he found that the deflection of the magnet, if we draw the magnet in different possible cases, then it was like magnet can be drawn, the needle can be drawn like this. So it was concluded that the deflection is along an imaginary circle, and more appropriately this was the I assume that wire here is out of the plane, it's just like this. I think you are getting the point. It's just like this, and here is the wire. So it was observed that the deflection of the needle is tangential to an imaginary circle with center at the position of the wire. So this was the conclusion. So here what we can say is that it was tangential to the imaginary circle. So first will be correct over here. First यहाँ पे correct हो जाएगा. Let's move to the fifth question. Fifth question is, in the above question, deflection in needle is noticeable when. तो यहाँ पे है कि डिफ्लेक्शन नोटिसेबल होता है, तो इट वाज ऑब्जर्व कि जब करंट बहुत ज़्यादा है और नीडल इज़ क्लोजर टू दी वायर, मतलब डिस्टेंस कम है. तो हम जानते हैं कि मैग्नेटिक फील्ड डिस्टेंस पे डिपेंड करता है, इनवर्स स्क्वायर लॉ को फॉलो करता है, करंट के डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल होता है. सो इसका जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो ये है कि जो मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन है, मान लीजिए कोई करंट कैरिंग वायर है एंड इट्स आइडियल एक करंट एलिमेंट मैंने मान लिया, तो यहाँ से अगर किसी आर डिस्टेंस पर मैं मैग्नेटिक फील्ड निकालना चाहता हूँ, तो इट वाज ऑब्जर्व्ड दैट दिस मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इज प्रोपोर्शनल टू, एंड ऑल्सो दिस इज प्रोपोर्शनल टू 1/r²। तो यहाँ से हम देख सकते हैं कि अगर करंट ज़्यादा होगा तो डी भी ज़्यादा होगा, डी भी ज़्यादा होगा तो डिफ्लेक्शन भी ज़्यादा होगा, ऑब्वियसली स्ट्रॉन्ग फील्ड होगा। एंड अगर आर कम होगा तो बिकॉज इन्वर्स रिलेशन में है सो डी भी ज़्यादा होगा, दैट इज़ डिफ्लेक्शन यहाँ पे लार्ज होगा। सो दिस इज एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑफ द पॉइंट्स दैट in the above question, deflection is noticeable when current is large and needle is closer to the wire. So these are explanations for this. Let's start with question number 6. So it is that in the above question on reversing direction of current in the wire, direction of deflection of the needle. तो यहाँ पे क्या है, करंट की डायरेक्शन रिवर्स होने से मैग्नेटिक फील्ड भी रिवर्स हो जाता है, क्योंकि उसमें डीबी में जो है डीएल क्रॉस आर एलिमेंट आएगा। तो डीएल वेक्टर को अगर आप उल्टा कर देंगे तो डीबी वेक्टर भी अपोजिट हो जाएगा। सो इट जस्ट रिवर्सेस। सो इसमें सेकंड ऑप्शन विल बी करेक्ट ओवर हियर, सेकंड आ जाएगा यहाँ पे। नेक्स्ट इज क्वेश्चन नंबर 7। इन द अबव क्वेश्चन व्हेन आयरन फाइलिंग्स वर स्प्रिंकल्ड नियर द वायर, they arrange themselves in a straight line, circle, ellipse या parabola. So they arrange themselves in a circle, in the form of a circle. इसका भी कॉन्सेप्ट समझते हैं क्या है। तो जैसा कि यहाँ पे हमने देखा था डायग्राम में कि किसी करंट कैरिंग वायर का जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है वो निडल जो है वो सर्कल में अरेंज हो जाता है टेंजेंशियल टू द प्लेन। तो अगर क्या है कि मान लीजिए कोई वायर रखा है और आप इसके आसपास यहाँ पे आयरन पाउडर को स्प्रिंकल कर देते हैं, तो आयरन पाउडर वो मैग्नेट की वजह से इस पर फोर्स लगेगा। तो अगर हम देखेंगे कि फाइनली ये इक्विलिब्रियम में कहाँ रह सकता है, तो ये इक्विलिब्रियम में ऐसी पोजीशन पे होगा जहाँ पे इस पे लगने वाला नेट फोर्स ज़ीरो है। तो अगर नेट फोर्स ज़ीरो है तो हम कह सकते हैं कि मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इसकी वजह से जो फोर्स लगेगा वो इसके टेंजेंशियल होगा, क्योंकि वायर यहाँ पे है तो जो फोर्स है वो इसके टेंजेंशियल होगा और यहाँ पे एक फ्रिक्शन भी होगा। तो फ्रिक्शन और जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड वायर की वजह से मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है वो एंटी पैरेलल होंगे, तभी ये जो है इक्विलिब्रियम में आएगा। अब यहाँ पे कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है कि जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड का डायरेक्शन है वो हमने देखा मैग्नेटिक निडल के डिफ्लेक्शन से, दैट इट इज़ टेंजेंशियल टू द प्लेन। तो इसका मतलब इक्विलिब्रियम के लिए नेट फोर्स ज़ीरो होना चाहिए। तो फ्रिक्शन तो हम अकॉर्डिंगली एडजस्ट कर लेंगे, लेकिन जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है वो क्योंकि टेंजेंशियल होगा, तो आयरन जो फाइलिंग्स हैं उनको भी टेंजेंशियल टू द सर्कल ही होना पड़ेगा, ताकि उन पे लगने वाला मैग्नेटिक फील्ड और फ्रिक्शन एडजस्ट कर पाए, एक दूसरे को कैंसिल कर पाए। ये इसका एक्सप्लेनेशन है। सो यहाँ पे हम कह सकते हैं कि सर्कल में अरेंज हुआ, तो सेकंड इज करेक्ट ओवर हियर। नेक्स्ट हियर इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ अबव एक्सपेरिमेंटल ऑब्जर्वेशंस ऑरस्टेड concluded that moving charges produces magnetic field, current produces magnetic field। तो दोनों ही करेक्ट हैं, थर्ड आ जाएगा इसमें। नाइन्थ इज इन विच ईयर लॉज ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एंड मैग्नेटिज्म वर यूनिफाइड। सो इसमें जो ईयर है ये था आपका 1864, इसमें दोनों यूनिफाई हुए थे। And next is who realized that light is an electromagnetic wave. So it was revealed by James Maxwell, who realized that light is an electromagnetic wave and its speed can be measured by pure electrical and magnetic measurements. बाद में इन्होंने मैक्सवेल के इक्वेशंस भी दिए थे और he tried to relate electricity and magnetism in a similar way. तो यहाँ से जेम्स क्लर्क मैक्सवेल पूरा नाम था, तो फर्स्ट जो है वो करेक्ट हो जाएगा। नेक्स्ट इज क्वेश्चन नंबर 11 दैट रेडियो वेव्स वर डिस्कवर्ड बाय। तो रेडियो वेव्स वही हैं जिसके थ्रू आप कम्युनिकेशंस करते हैं। बेसिकली रेडियो जब आप सुनते हैं, अब तो खैर पुराना हो गया रेडियो, पहले जब रेडियो सुना जाता था तो उस समय कम्युनिकेशन के लिए यूज़ होता था रेडियो वेव्स। और इसमें ख़ास बात है कि अगर इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम को देखें तो उसमें इनका वेवलेंथ सबसे ज़्यादा होता है, फ्रीक्वेंसी सबसे कम है, तो ये कम्युनिकेशन के लिए यूज़ होता था। सो इट वाज दे वर डिस्कवर्ड बाय हर्ट्ज। सो फर्स्ट विल बी करेक्ट ओवर हियर। 12th इज रेडियो वेव्स वर प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय। अब प्रोड्यूस मतलब एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करके किसने देखा था। सो इसमें दो साइंटिस्ट का नाम आएगा, जेसी बोस एंड जी मार्कोनी। यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा कॉन्सेप्ट समझें कि डिस्कवर हर्ट्ज ने किया था ड्यूरिंग हिज एक्सपेरिमेंट्स, एंड इसको एक्सपेरिमेंट होने के बाद इसको प्रोड्यूस करके लैब में जो है उसको क्रिएट करके दिखाया था इन्होंने। ये आपके जेसी बोस एंड जे मार्कोनी बोथ आएगा। सो थर्ड जो है यहाँ पे करेक्ट हो जाएगा। नेक्स्ट इज क्वेश्चन नंबर 13, व्हेन वर रेडियो वेव्स डिस्कवर्ड? तो इसमें आपका आएगा एंड ऑफ 19th सेंचुरी। एंड ऑफ 19th सेंचुरी में डिस्कवर हुआ था, स्टैंडर्ड से फैक्ट्स हैं। Next is a remarkable scientific and technological progress takes place in 19th century, 20th, 21st और 16th। सो इसमें आपका सेकंड आ जाएगा 20th सेंचुरी। इसमें एक बड़ी अमेजिंग सी बात है, बड़ा अजीब सा कॉन्सेप्ट आपको लगेगा। इट इज़ इफ़ वी लुक फॉर द पैटर्न्स in advancement of human civilizations, so we can see that in 20th century suddenly there was like something has changed inside the human mind and system. Most of the developments took place in 20th century. There were scientists like Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, Copernicus, Oersted. It was it's like out of some unexplained mechanisms, suddenly brilliant people came to this planet, and which changed the progress, the rate of developments of technologies and advancements in human civilization. And at all, it is very connected to the development of the mind-brain system. There were scientists who were capable to think out of the box, like Sir Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla, who had something out of the box senses in them, and they could think out of the box and could create, concepts which were not even contemplable at that time. You can take the case of quantum theory of light, assuming that light is made up of discrete particles of energy, and how to use that expression to explain the results of the photoelectric effect, which were done by Holbrook and Leonard. So that was very amazing sort of thing. And you may also take the example of Nikola Tesla, who developed the concept of alternating current. He even developed the concept of wireless transmission of electricity. So he had certain out of the box thinking, or he had access to, it is said that he had access to some extra planetary individuals, extra planetary entities. And it is said that certain cases of UFO abduction was there. So there were certain women who were abducted, and the child they had, the womb they had was being the DNA was changed. So it's quite speculative that DNA of those people who landed on Earth during that time, maybe the Albert Einstein or the Nikola Tesla, there is a story associated with them, even with Nikola Tesla, that he fell ill and he fell so miserably that everybody lost the hope that whether it will be possible to get him back again. But suddenly, out of certain mysterious thing happened, and you know he survived and did remarkable progress in science and technology. So there is involvement of hyperdimensional entity during that year. So that's why it's so it said that a remarkable scientific and technological progress. So here second will be the answer for that. So let's move on to the 15th question. It is the factor for above progress is attributed to. So first is an increased understanding. Okay. Production, amplification, transmission, and detection of EM waves. Yes. So here both of these are correct. So third option is correct over here. Then is the 16th question, which is a straight wire is carrying current at current out of the page of this the magnetic field due to the wire. So when the here will use the sign convention, then that when current is out of the page, then the magnetic field will circle in anti-clockwise way. So here first will be correct. So first will be the correct option over here. Next is particles can be accelerated to very high energy. So it's a cyclotron use. First question, first option is correct. Then is we have currents and voltages are detected by. So galvanometer is the standard tool used to measure them. The first is correct over here. Next is magnitude of electric field due to point charge at a distance r. So this is given by the first expression, q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. First is correct over here. Then 20th question is force on a charge in an electric field. So this is Q into E. So first concept is here. Let's discuss one concept related to this. So here is, let's discuss one more question. The question goes like this, that if charge is positive, is negative, is zero. So what is angle between force and electric field? So we know that force is equal to Q into E. So if Q is positive, we can say that F will be parallel to vector E. So we can say that force and electric field will be parallel and angle between them will be zero. Now if angle between them is zero, we can conclude that the cross product of F and E will be having a magnitude zero and the dot product F dot E will be positive. So this is the analysis that we can make. Next question, if charge is negative. So if charge is negative, so we can say that electric field and force will be anti-parallel to each other because there is a negative scalar involved. So that means direction of force will be opposite to the electric field. So the angle between them will be 180 degree. So theta here will be 180 degree, and obviously if theta is 180 degree, the cross product will be having a magnitude 0, but the dot product will be negative. So this is one of the important analytical question which may be of use in JEE Main and even for JEE Advanced. Whereas if charge is 0, so certainly we can say that force will be 0. So concept of angle is not applicable. This is not applicable in case of the neutral charge. So this is the concept that we can make out. Let's move back to the NCERT questions. So this is Q into E. So first option here is correct. So for question number 20, we have the first question as correct. Then move back to 21. So it is electric field is just an artifact, has a physical it's not just an artifact, it has got a physical significance. So that is option number 2 is correct. Now here is the concept also. Let's understand the concept. First of all, let's think that why we the concept of field was developed. Just ask yourself, suppose there is a charge q1 and there is a charge q2. Now there is nothing that connects q1 and q2. Suppose that charges have same nature, so we say that there will be a force on the charge 2 as shown in the figure, and similarly a charge on q1 like this. Now here is the question, that there is nothing which is directly connecting q1 and q2. So how force can be applied on q2 by a certain distance? And Sir Albert Einstein said it as a spooky spooky action from a distance. So there is something which connects q1 and q2, and which is the space-time curve. So the concept of field was developed to explain the action of force from one charge on another. So it is the space-time curve which connects q1 and q2. So what q1 does is it produces certain curvature in the space-time curve, and that curvature is explained in terms of the field, and that field is created with just interacted with charge q2. You just visualize it like there is a river, and on the river you drop a pebble. So when you drop a pebble, waves will be generated, and these waves will move in radially outward direction, and any particle on the surface of that river will feel the impact of that wave, and in that way you can transfer momentum, energy and force from the center to any particle on the surface of the river. So here the top of the river is equivalent to the space-time curve, and charge is equivalent to the pebble. So the moment some charge is there, it created a wave, or it created a field, more specifically, or electromagnetic field, which interacted with the other charge. So this is how the concept of field was developed, and it explained force at a certain distance. So it has got a certain physical role. It is actually the interaction mechanism between the charges, and it is the factor which applies force from one charge to the another. So that strange mechanism which transfer force from one charge to another is the field over here. So right now the concept behind making these videos is to make sure that you have very strong fundamentals related to each chapter of physics, and it is especially important for NEET students because NEET is all about NCERT physics, and if you are comfortable with the basic terms, basic vocabularies, basic concepts of NCERT physics, there is a good chance of scoring good in physics itself in NEET exam. And in also JEE Main and JEE Advanced, you should know the basic terms, the basic vocabulary, the basic concepts, because in Main and Advanced there is use of multiple conceptual based question, but it has its origin in the fundamentals. So these video lectures are made with the intention that you should have crystal clear fundamentals, you should be very handy with the basic concepts, basic terms, so that when you solve critical questions or the multiple thinking based questions, you are not confused, you are not driven out by study burns out or study anxiety or depression, anxiety. It's just the part one of preparing in an optimal way, in an object oriented way, with better retention and better performance, maybe in your board exams or maybe NEET or JEE Main or JEE Advanced. In case of any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.